narrate a suspenseful horror story set in a remote national park during a thunderstorm. The narrator should have a deep, resonant voice with a tone that conveys tension and unease. Incorporate ambient sounds like rain, distant thunder, rustling leaves, and occasional snapping twigs to enhance the eerie atmosphere. Use dramatic pauses and vary the pacing to build suspense and highlight key moments. The storm rolled in without warning, turning the afternoon sky into a canvas of swirling gray. As a seasoned park ranger, I weathered many tempests, but this one felt different, ominous. I was stationed at the remote northern outpost of Black Hollow National Park, a place where the dense forest swallows sound and light. The radio crackled with static, the usual chatter from the main station drowned by the storm's fury. As night fell, the rain intensified, drumming relentlessly on the cabin's tin roof. I settled in, sipping lukewarm coffee, when a sudden knock echoed through the room. Startled, I approached the door, but no one was there. Just the forest, dark and impenetrable. I dismissed it as a branch or perhaps an animal seeking shelter. Returning to my seat, I felt a chill, as if unseen eyes were watching. The feeling was unsettling, but I tried to shake it off. Hours passed, and the storm showed no signs of abating. Suddenly, the power flickered and died, plunging the cabin into darkness. I reached for my flashlight, its beam cutting through the blackness. That's when I saw it. A figure standing just beyond the tree line, motionless, watching. I called out, but there was no response. The figure remained still, unaffected by the pouring rain. I stepped outside, the rain soaking through my uniform instantly. The figure vanished into the woods. I hesitated, then decided to follow, driven by a mix of duty and dread. The forest was alive with the sounds of the storm, masking my footsteps. I moved cautiously, the flashlight illuminating twisted branches and slick undergrowth. Then a whisper, faint, almost drowned by the rain. "Leave!" I froze, heart pounding. The voice seemed to come from all around, yet from nowhere. I turned back, but the path had disappeared, the forest unfamiliar. Panic set in. I was lost in my own park, the storm erasing all landmarks. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. "Leave now!" I ran, branches clawing at me, the flashlight flickering, then a light, a soft glow through the trees. I stumbled towards it, emerging into a clearing where the figure stood, illuminated by an ethereal light. It raised an arm, pointing back the way I came. The whispers ceased. I turned, and the familiar path to the cabin lay before me. I didn't look back. Back in the safety of the cabin, the power returned, the storm beginning to wane. I never spoke of that night, but I know the forest holds secrets, and some warnings are best heeded. Weeks had passed since I discovered the abandoned cabin and the belongings of the long-lost ranger. Yet, the forest's whispers grew louder, more insistent. Each night, as darkness enveloped Black Hollow, the air thickened with an unspoken tension. Determined to uncover the truth, I delved into the park's archives. Hidden among the dusty records, I found a series of reports detailing unexplained disappearances dating back over a century. Each incident occurred during violent storms, and all within the same vicinity, the heart of Black Hollow. One name recurred throughout the documents: the Watcher, described as a shadowy figure seen just before each disappearance, always pointing deeper into the woods. Locals believed it to be a spirit, a guardian of the forest, warning intruders of impending doom. Armed with this knowledge, I decided to confront the entity. On the next stormy night, I ventured into the forest, retracing the path to the abandoned cabin. Rain lashed against the trees and thunder rumbled overhead. As I approached the clearing, the temperature dropped and the whispers returned, now forming coherent words. Turn back. Danger. Death. Ignoring the warnings, I pressed on. Suddenly, the watcher appeared, its form more distinct than before. It pointed not deeper into the woods but directly at me. A surge of fear gripped me, but I stood my ground. "What do you want?" I shouted over the howling wind. The watcher slowly lowered its arm and spoke in a voice that echoed like the rustling leaves. "Protect them." Before I could respond, a blinding flash of lightning illuminated the forest, and the watcher vanished. In its place stood a young boy, drenched and shivering. It was Dennis Martin, the child who had disappeared decades ago. He looked at me with pleading eyes before fading into the mist. I realized then that the watcher was not a harbinger of doom, but a guardian, trying to protect both the forest and those who entered it. The disappearances were not acts of malevolence, but of salvation, rescuing souls from a greater evil lurking within the woods. From that night on, I took it upon myself to heed the watcher's warnings, guiding visitors safely through Black Hollow and ensuring they respected its ancient secrets. The forest still whispers, but now I listen. The storm had passed, but an unsettling stillness lingered over Black Hollow National Park. The air was thick with humidity, and the forest seemed to hold its breath. I couldn't shake the memory of the figure in the woods, the way it pointed, the whispers that led me back. Sleep eluded me, and I found myself staring out the cabin window, searching for movement among the trees. Days turned into weeks, and reports began to surface. Campers spoke of shadowy figures watching from the tree line, of whispers carried on the wind. One hiker claimed to have followed a light deep into the forest, only to find himself lost for hours. I decided to investigate further, retracing my steps from that stormy night. The forest was dense, the canopy allowing only slivers of sunlight through. As I ventured deeper, the familiar feeling of being watched returned. Then I heard it, a soft whisper, barely audible, yet unmistakable. "Leave." I turned, and there it was, the figure standing among the trees. This time, it didn't vanish. It raised its arm, pointing once more. But instead of directing me back, it pointed deeper into the forest. Compelled, I followed. The path was overgrown, as if untouched for years. Eventually, I stumbled upon a clearing I had never seen before. In its center stood the remnants of an old cabin, long abandoned. Inside, I found journals, photographs, and maps, belongings of a ranger who had gone missing decades ago. The last journal entry read, "The forest is alive, it watches, it whispers. I must warn them." Realization dawned. The figure was the missing ranger, trapped between worlds, trying to protect others from the forest's secrets. I left the clearing, the weight of the discovery heavy on my shoulders. Back at the cabin, I documented everything, ensuring the ranger's warnings would not be forgotten. Now, when storms roll in and whispers fill the air, I listen. For in Black Hollow, the forest remembers and its guardians still watch.